final slot in the LCS promotion. Of course, who they will face, who knows? There's obviously a bunch of teams already there. Gambit and Copenhagen Wolves. We don't know who will be joining them. That will be found out next week, of course, in the 5th place matchup. Super Hot Crew will be fighting for that. The question is, will they be playing SK and Millennium? We'll find that out tomorrow. But right now, though, Ninjas in Pyjamas and Unicorns of Love, the bans are underway. Syndra, Yorick, and Orianna taken away. Syndra, of course, from Power of Evil. Yorick from the top lane. A ban against Vizitachi. He'll be happy with that one. Nidalee being taken away. Kabashard not going to get to play that one. There is the Lee Sin ban against Lolex, of course. Played 600-700 games on that. And Rengar in the jungle. Maokai does get through instantly. Locked in for Kabashard.
So all of the primary go-to picks are up and available. We've seen NIP locking in Kog'Maw fairly early on in the past. In a lot of the previous...
Banception.
Pick and Banception, of course. And we need to see if they're going to prioritize the Kog'Maw once again for Freeze. But in terms of the rest of the bans, nothing is too surprising or out there. Unicorns of Love still have the possibility of running that Cassiopeia mid. Maybe the Rammus jungle, and the only reason I highlighted it has helped them pick up wins in the past. Not 100% sure if they're going to do it this game.
No, absolutely. And Morgana Tristana was locked in there, of course, so that's going to see strong top, strong bottom lane. We did just see that one working out. Tristana favoured over the likes of Kog'Maw, as you mentioned, Twitch out there as well. Haven't seen a great deal of Lucian today.
No, not at all. I've spoken to Nif upstairs regarding Kog'Maw and Tristana, and he was just highlighting how in the super late game, Tristana, with her greater range that is default, not reliant on a cooldown like the Bioarcane Barrage of Kog'Maw, in addition to having a reposition spell and a knockback spell, is worth its weight in gold. So that's why he was saying Tristana is the preferred pick. But if you get ahead with Kog'Maw, you can play a lot more aggressively in the mid game and really punish Tristana, who is, I don't want to say exceptionally weak, but is significantly weaker than Kog'Maw in the mid game stages of the matchup.
That Evelyn locked in does force changes in the jungle. It seems that it will be Jarvan the 4th selected for Gilius. We'll see how that works out for him, of course. Freeze on Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw, a champion that has been played pretty heavily over the last few weeks since the 4.11 changes. Yeah, since the AD itemization and attack speed sort of worked in his favor. But with that Jarvan pick, I mean, Evelyn was taken off the table. Elise was still up. And despite the fact that Elise's Cocoon and Repel were changed on this patch, you still feel that she is quite impactful. And Gilius has opted to go for Jarvan. Jarvan, in particular in the challenger scene, is one of, if not the most impactful junglers. He is seen by so many of these teams in a lot of those Challenger Series playoffs, and he can do very well, especially if you know how to flag and drag to avoid vision. So we'll see. Is that going to be an Aurelia in the top lane? It will be. But Zed locked in for Alex. It's a champion I love to see him playing on, of course. Thresh is also going to be alongside that Kog'Maw. So the safety for Kog'Maw. There's a lot of aggression come from NIP this time around. It is, and I do feel like there's a lot of mid-game power that NIP are looking for. Whoa! They're whoa, okay, so Swain top is... Here we go. This is Unicorns of Love. They always pull out interesting champions. And it's just another one added to the list. I want to quickly touch on NIP. I feel like their mid-game power spike will be higher than that of Unicorns of Love. And when you consider that Maokai, while he has damage, it's not necessarily massive amounts of burst, he shouldn't be able to punch out Swain in that mid-game stage. If Zed blows his death mark on Swain as well, it allows both Ziggs and Tristana to be fairly safe in the sidelines. So if NIP don't win within the early to mid-game stages of this matchup, I feel like the Unicorns of Love can in theory outscale them. The wave clear with Ziggs, the range on Tristana, but it means they need to survive the early game, survive that early aggression that you were talking about on NIP's side, and we need to see what Swain does. Because he can be fantastic or he can flop. Lemon Dogs ran him last year in the Season 3 World Championships, and it was terrible. It wasn't so good. Well, now that the champions have been summoned, who do you think has the edge? Send a tweet to @LOL eSports. Use the hashtag NIP win for Ninjas in Pyjamas and UOL win for the Unicorns of Love. And we'll check out the results shortly as the game gets underway. What do we think overall from these two teams? Pretty well balanced. A lot of aggression from NIP for this time around. Yeah, I think there's more early to mid-game aggression. With the Evelyn, who requires a lot more warding. From talking to some of the Challenger casters, there's a little bit of a split in opinion regarding Unicorns of Love's average warding game. And if you look at their quarters and semifinals, I think they dropped the ball. I don't think they warded as efficiently as they should have.
You can't afford to do that against an Evelyn, especially in a best of 5 like this, where Lulex, who has a lot of stage experience, can potentially punish you really hard.
Yeah, of course, remember, played for Gambit over in London and here as well on the stage in Cologne. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, game 1 underway. Ninjas in Pyjamas starting off as the blue team up against the Unicorns of Love in the red team. This is a best of 5 Challenger Series. It's the 3rd place playoff. It is a big, important game because the winner will, of course, reach the LCS Promotion Series and see who they face. Currently, Ninjas in Pyjamas do not have a good history here on this stage. Unicorns of Love, of course, fresh-faced young players, their first experience of the big stage. We'll see how it works out. And I'm really interested because I was sat up in the player room with both of these teams as they watched the LCS quarterfinals play out, and they were discussing hard about the merits of the lane switching that was going on in that Super Hot Crew game. It looks like Unicorns are going to go for a full 5-man invade. They want to get the ward on the red buff, and I want to see, because there was a big difference of opinion between Alex, between Freeze, between Voidal, and between the Unicorns of Love. None of them could agree on whether the Cogmore Twitch should be alongside, up against Tristana, Morgana. Should they be at the top? Should they be at the bottom? Obviously, they're going to get the dragon, then they're going to go to the tower. It was a right back and forth argument. And that's, you know, kind of highlighted for me how difficult your job is, Trevor, because if they can't decide, the players themselves, how are you going to tell us?
That's the beauty of it, because if you look at the matchups, I think you have to feel that the likes of Cogmore and Thresh should have a slight lane advantage against Tristana and Morgana, especially because of the fact that Tristana's early game damage has been hit. The lower ranks on that explosive shot have been reduced, and that removes some of her bullying power. We'll keep talking about that in a second, because NIP are potentially surrounding the Unicorns of Love. So this could be a risky situation. They're going in.
Oh, Vardak's out of position. Is he going to be the focus when Kabashard comes around the side? Oh, the catch is only on the red buff. Look at this though. Gilia's taken very low. Kabashard low as well. He's going to get caught out. He will go down. First blood came. Lolax now taken out. He will drop as well. Unicorns of Love got 2 kills already. Can they chase and get the 3rd? They will. Down binding. Gets on Alexic. No follow-up though. Power of Evil will get through, but I think he's going to be able to escape this one safely. Darkbind will be on a long cooldown. There's a bouncing bomb coming through. Darkbind in sidesteps. He will get free, but it's a 2-0 start, and that's a 1,000 gold advantage already. People going back and buying a Ruby Crystal start for Swain.
Ninjas in Pyjamas had no coordination on that invade at all. They were split up, and it looked like Kabashard was the one that wanted to go aggressive, but he didn't have the support of the rest of his team. And in addition to that, Voidal did not connect with a champion on that death sentence. That is a very, very big game changer. If that had caught a Unicorn of Love out, Ninjas in Pyjamas would have collapsed on that single champion, but they didn't. So they end up giving first blood to Vizichachi, and Hyalasing manages to grab a secondary kill. Swain is a champion that wants to snowball. He wants to get items. And that is a very good start for him in the very early minutes of the game, despite the fact that First Blood is not necessarily worth the greatest amount pre 4 minutes.
Well, we talked about the lane swap, and clearly both teams wanted to do it. They both hinted to the top. Of course, after that big fight, they're both sticking around. We'll see who manages to gain an advantage from this one. Neither of these players, Vardags or Hylissang, have gone back to buy, so they're sitting on quite an amount of gold compared to Ninjas in Pyjamas. Alexic has returned now, got himself full health. Started out quite brazen, honestly, with that longsword. 360 gold, of course, did afford him a bunch of health pots, which he has already burnt through. Meanwhile, Power of Evil, sitting, of course, with that Dawn's Ring, yet to use his single pot.
I actually think the lane swap is very intelligent here for the Unicorns of Love. By forcing themselves into that 2v1 scenario, it's going to open them up to some options in terms of reading Lulex's position. There's not enough deep wards from Unicorns of Love to actually be 100% sure of where Lulex is going. But as long as they don't overextend in their 2v2 lane, it only really allows Lulex to go middle or bottom. So we need to keep an eye on Vizichachi and Power of Evil. They don't want to overextend and run the risk of getting caught out by the invisible jungler of the Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, let's not forget, of course, Lolax will be quite far behind after being caught out at that red buff. He is chasing at the moment, of course. It may well open some opportunities, some early opportunities for Gilius to try and make a gank. Has got flash available to him. If he tries to go in this mid lane, we'll find out. So, Kabashard, he had to back early, gets himself a second Doran's Ring. along with a health pot and mana pot. We'll see how that works out for him. Did go for that ward, so he's going to get that in the river to give himself some coverage of Gilius.
I want to see how Cabochard itemizes, because with an Evelyn who is not necessarily the greatest frontline tank, she wants to be flanking, coming in from the sidelines and creating disruption and panic, not standing in front of 3 or 4 members, tanking up all of the damage. I feel like Cabochard needs to go towards a tanky build fairly early on, maybe Rod of Ages into some MR, Spirit Visage, because they are up against a double AP threat, which is very important to note. So we'll see how Cabochard does itemize, but I feel like he's feeling the pressure of Chachi having the early kill and obviously having the CS advantage in the opening stages of the game.
Gilius doesn't realize he's trailing Lolex, who is following along. Of course, they have full vision and note that he is coming around that corner. He's going to come straight face-long into it. Doesn't fancy this fight, I don't think. Will flag and drag away. Took a quick burst, and that red buff will burn him down. That sends him packing in the jungle, and it also gives a little bit of a warning sign for Power of Evil. He is fairly static. He has got his flash available, but won't want to burn it yet. He may well be forced to, because Lolex is looking to flank.
Let's see if he can get a decent satchel charge. Alexich does not have access to his death mark, so I think kill threat will be slightly low, but Alex is getting close to it. Here they come.
Comes straight in towards it. Will manage to get the damage down. Hasn't forced him away. Good satchel charge away. Turning this back around. Remember, Power of Evil had it level 6. Will have that Mega Inferno Bomber wave available to clear the wave. And he will save the tower as well.
So all of the early advantages going in favor of the Unicorns of Love. They punish NIP for a terrible invade. They have got a CS advantage in both the top and the middle lanes. And, you know, you feel that Swain could work. He's going in on Cabochard.
He lands this bind every time. And Cabochard not set for this wave, I don't think. And Vizicachi, well, he can just farm this wave out with his ulti.
So I want to talk about Vizicachi a little bit, because in solo queue online against the likes of Dr. Mundo, he runs Poppy as a counterpick. And in the Challenger Series against the likes of Maokai, we've heard and we've seen Smitty running Riven into Maokai as a counterpick. Now Maokai, of course, is a melee champion. He has fairly good sustain in lane, so he can, over a very long period of time, harass and survive. But up against a Swain, once he hits level 6, he's going to have equal, if not better, sustain and a better duel, thanks to the root, thanks to the slow, thanks to the laser bird pew-pew-pewing you in the face. So I don't want to call it a counter, but it definitely has the tools to deal with the aggression that Cabochard can put down.
It's good to see we are seeing some variances in that lane. He has backed off, got himself the Catalyst complete, along with the second Orange Ring and boots. So feeling pretty strong in this lane for now. Of course, comes straight back, wipe out that wave, and may actually start putting some pressure on Cabochard, because he can shove that wave right into that tower every time.
Now, we need to see how NIP are going to claw this lead back. With both of the duos being top, it is going to limit your dragon presence, because Swain, Maokai are not particularly well known for very fast dragons. So the first team to actually move their duo to the bottom lane may then signal dragon is going to be a realistic objective battle within the next few minutes. But for the time being, Unicorns of Love, I think they should be very happy and content to continue CSing and continue in this setup, because their lanes are in their advantage and they're generating a lead simply by bullying their opponents.
Power of Evil continuing to go towards that Athenes, despite the fact he is up against a Zed in this mid lane. Of course, Build-to-Order Cutlass was picked up by Alex, and that ping ward which he just placed. We'll see whether he goes aggressive on Gilius. He will, straight away, getting straight on towards him. Is he going to have enough damage? I'm not sure it is. He's going to have to completely go all in. He will not have it. Will it force, of course, the jungler away long enough to go for Dragon? It seems there's going to be no movement.
Alex burned everything. Flash, Ignite, Deathmark. Yes, he's behind in CS 30 at this stage. It'll be reduced somewhat by that wave, but that to me screams like a, I need to make a play now. All right, Vizicachi, he's gone Cabochard, but this is 2v1.
Not going to completely commit to it. Doesn't have any vision, and he's just going to keep using those birds and wipe out the waves. It's going to be very hard for Cabochard to keep pushing. And if you just start looking at CS numbers, you can see in that bottom lane between the Maokai and Swain, big numbers starting to develop, as well as you mentioned, Alex Ich falling heavily behind Power of Evil.
Yeah, I just think that all in onto Gilius felt like somewhat of a desperation play. All right, Gilius, let's see if he can make a gank on Cabashard. He does have the slam dunk.
Goes in towards him, already using that, gets the catalyst down, the root doesn't land, there's the Mega Inferno Bomb, and doesn't matter, doesn't land, doesn't give the assist, but it's a good clean kill for Vizichachi.
So by getting Cabashard off the board, now the Unicorns of Love are going to open up a safer dragon. We do see Alex, he's burned all of his summoners, does not have Deathmark available, and Lulex is actually nowhere near. So this looks like it's going to be an uncontested dragon. By the time Lulex gets in range, I feel like it's going to be too late. Again, not the fastest of dragons, but it's going to be safely secured, and the Unicorns of Love extend their lead. They've just got a very, very strong start to this matchup, and Voidal, unfortunately, not having the best of luck with those death sentences.
Vardax is doing a fine job in this top lane up against Freeze at the moment. Freeze, of course, as you mentioned, probably the more experienced of these AD carries. We thought Vardax may have a few problems, but right now we're definitely holding his own, holding well. Of course, did get those 2 assists early on, which has given him a big boost towards that Infinity Edge you can see he's building at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see who hits those power spikes first, because Freeze is obviously going to go the Trinity Force route. It will give him a window of opportunity where Vardax is potentially still finishing his Eye-Edge into Static Shiv. But it means Ninjas in Pyjamas have to take advantage of that. The 2 times you've seen Lulex try go bottom lane, it hasn't worked out, but now Vizichachi is half mana and overextended.
Well, now he's in trouble. Is he going to get around the side there? Lolex does go down, has to flash away from it. Exhaust, is he going to be getting on towards him? We'll just force him away, no problem there. Vizichachi pretty safe, honestly.
Well, Summoner Spell was burned. While that was going on, Voidal and Freeze did force Vardax to back off to the rocket jump. So, you know, we touched on Freeze and Voidal just, you know, sort of having the advantage in the 2v2, and Vardax is doing a good job at staying relevant. He's farming effectively, but he needs to hit that late game power spike as quickly as possible. I just think there's big power spikes that are changing here. Rod of Age is already completed for Vizichachi, and Singh manages to get away with his life. So we'll see who comes out on top. You know, Voidal playing Thresh. Some changes in 4.13. That shield only affects a single target. Not necessarily a win every team fight. Not Gilius, he's baiting. Here comes Gilius.
Trying to bait too much. Yeah, Lantern quickly slides Freeze away. So Vardax returns back to lane. Had to get himself a second Doran's Blade, actually. So wasn't quite enough, as you mentioned, to go get that eye edge just yet. We'll see whether Freeze is able to do that. They're both closing in on 4,000 gold, so it's only a matter of time. Let's say pushes in. Stuck around for a long time, managed to pick himself up a little bit of farm while it was all gone. Meanwhile, back down in the spawn lane, Rod of Age is now completed by Vizichachi. Once again, goes straight into Cabashard. Cabashard in all sorts of trouble here. He's going to have to walk away. Has got flash available, so he's not in that much danger unless he gets caught out once again. Vizichachi happy to dive this.
Couldn't get away.
Cabashard had flash available. Didn't bother using it.
Big smiles on the face of Chachi, and so well deserved. Every Never move that he's needed to connect has landed. Rooted Cabashard in place and just ran him down. You know, you do have to admit that Cabashard, if he was going to flash, he needed to do it before the Decrepify slow was on him. Once that slow landed, it may have allowed Vizichachi to still close the gap despite that teleport. And he's really struggling. It's going to be such a long time before Cabashard is able to stay on the front line and actually protect the carries of Ninjas in Pyjamas, thanks to the great work that Vizichachi and Gilius have done in this lane.
Oh, that Never move lands again, and Vizichachi just making all sorts of moves on Cabashard. Cabashard needs desperate help. It's either a case of leaving him on the island right now for Lolex or help him out, because Vizichachi is going to be a monster by the time they start moving into team fights, which at this rate will not be long.
No, and with the Dragon already going the way of Unicorns of Love, the moment it's available, I expect the Unicorns of Love to instantly start it. They've got a completed Rod of Ages that's been stacking for a while, and Vizichachi's sitting on 900 gold. You've got the Athene's Unholy Grail already finished for Power of Evil, and Gilius, while he doesn't have a massive amount of tank stats at the moment, there's a lot of tools with the Flag and Drag and the Cataclysm to dictate the pace of a team fight. You can lock Evelyn in or out along with Cogmore. So, as long as Gilius gets a good Cataclysm down, there's only 2 or 3 champions that can get in or out. Oh, they've caught Hylissang top.
Hylissang's in trouble, you can see. Oh, not sure about Vardax jumping in. I think he wanted to get the other side of Freeze and rocket in, bounce him in towards the tower. That was risky play. Hylissang does live, though, from the aggression and the use of exhaust from both supports as well.
Yeah, but it's Vardags that comes off worse for wear. Not only does he lose the pressure in the top lane, Summoner Heal was also blown, and Power of Evil is looking for a kill on Lulex.
Yeah, Lulex, that's how you protect a pink ward, that's for sure. Do not take my pink ward. I'm going to throw every single bomb at you.
And
Keeps
the rubber
him at
ducky. Ended up working, got the pink ward protected, but it's just, I think the Unicorns of Love, my biggest problem when I was watching their semifinals and the quarterfinals was their strategic decision making, and I sort of felt like they lost the plot at times, and you cannot say that of this game because they've been in absolute control.
The one thing I would say though, Unicorns of Love, especially against Gamers 2, they were behind at the start of every single game. They're not behind this time. They are quite far ahead, in all honesty. Ooh, Alex Sitch actually going to get caught. Has to use his shadow to get out of that one. No,
Flash,
actually. Flash,
yep.
Yeah.
Really afraid. And it was quite smart from Alex not to all in. I think he realized there was support. There's very little chance of seeing a Morgana in your jungle that aggressive without having some support. And to finish the point that you were saying, yes, the Unicorns of Love tend to play from behind. We'll see how well they play in this game because they do have a sizable lead. And we also need to see how they play the rest of the series. Unicorns of Love often go 1-0 only to lose 2-1 in best of threes. So we'll see how they do this time around. Dragon is up in 20 seconds. Both of the duos have moved bottom, and Gilius is going to pay some attention to the Ninjas in Pyjamas bottom lane. Remember, Freeze gets locked in, and there's no Lantern for him to get to safety. And there's going to be a fairly dead Cogmore, but the ward revealed Gilius' position.
He's just quickly sidestepped last minute there. Of course, with the duo lanes moving down here, it does mean Dragon is going to get started off. Unicorns of Love took the first one. Can they take the second one? NIP look like to be fighting for this one. Oh, wow. Power of Evil. Ignite still running, not going to be enough. And now NIP, this is going to be a risky challenge.
Well, we'll see if NIP can make this fight happen. They need to commit soon, or Dragon's going to get secured.
Oh, Lolex comes in, got knocked to the side, quickly takes the lantern, gets out of there. Teleport comes down. Here comes Vizichachi. Can he get more? Never move.
Get
two of them. Cataclysm comes in. Lolex in trouble. Can he get caught down? Soul Shackles will knock off. Lolex will go down. Vizichachi diving on the tower. He's got hit points of days here. Freezing all sorts of trouble. He's going to go down. It's a double for Vizichachi. What a fantastic move by the Unicorns of Love.
They have got such a control of this game. Power of Evil 1v1s Alex on his signature champion. Zed is a champion that he played so well for so long, and that never moves from Vizichachi. Keep talking about how well placed they are. Locks up two members of NIP, and does the smart thing as well. Focuses down the targets that are running away, realizing his teammates can finish off anyone that was locked inside that Cataclysm. So that ended up being 4 kills in total, plus a Dragon, plus 2 towers, and an 8,000 gold lead at 17 minutes.
And NIP, you know, you may wonder why they didn't get out of that never move. They didn't see it coming. They saw the teleport. They had no vision of Vizichachi. They had no idea where he went. Came around the side. Fantastic play. 5-0-2 now for Vizichachi in this top lane. Pulling out unique champions a number of times throughout the Challenger Series. And this, honestly, for me, is a sign of a team that knows what they need to do to make things happen, how to win. So often we'll see Challenger teams coming through with just basically one team comp. That's all they can do, one set of champions. A couple of those big champions get banned out. They don't know what to do. Unicorns of Love are looking very strong in game one. Remember though, this is a best of 5. There's a long way to go tonight.
Exactly. So the thing that we keep talking about, Ninjas in Pyjamas struggle when they're on this stage. But on the same token, Unicorns of Love, Cabashot might be going down.
Cabashot in trouble once again. Is it going to be enough? No, it's going to be ticking away, but has to get out. This time Flash was used and he will escape. That may give up the top tower.
So Cabashot only just got his Rod of Ages about 30 or 40 seconds ago. Vizichachi's been stacking up for a very long time, in addition to having a Spirit Visage already completed. But just to finish the point, Unicorns of Love are generally fantastic in best of ones, especially when they surprise their opponents, and they fail in extended series. So in order for me to believe that the Unicorns of Love are actually going to win this series, they need to continue punishing Ninjas in Pyjamas, force them to go on tilt, force them to believe the curse is real, make them second guess themselves. And if the Unicorns of Love get a strong start in game 2, maintain control, you never know, they might be able to take this series, because 70% of the people when we started felt NIP were going to come out on top, and that's definitely not the case in game 1.
I want to see how quick they are at closing games out. They have clearly a gigantic advantage. Lolet's going to try and flank around. Can he manage to land a good Agony's Embrace? Unicorns of Love were grouped up. They are aware of the threat. But Visitachi is now coming back. Sorcerer's Boots are completed along with that Spirit Visage. They spotted, of course, with that ping ward. They saw Lolex coming. And they're continuing to siege this one down. NIP, they're going to struggle to wipe out these waves. They're just going to get sieged out.
Yeah, they're going to be very reliant on Alex. Look at this. They've caught cover. They're going in.
Wow, so much damage on him. Mega Inferno Bomb comes in. That is the top laner. The tankiest member of the team just getting annihilated. Voidal in trouble now. He gets Cataclysmed on. Gilius moves in towards that. That's another kill picked up for the AD carry. Vardax this time. They're going to continue pushing through the base. How are NIP going to stop them?
They simply cannot. This is a 3 versus 5, and as long as the Unicorns of Love have minions, they can continue sieging towers. Lolex is recalling in the base. Alex is running all the way around. Unicorns of Love are going to take a 20-minute inhibitor. D-Man, you asked how are the Unicorns going to finish the game? They're just going to push the middle lane, take the inhib, and I would imagine if they want to play this safe, they could play the Baron bait and then kill NIP to win the game. Alternatively, you can just play patiently. I mean, this is just a well-executed tower dive. They have strong champions on the front line. Jarvan and Swain can tank up towers for days. And NIP was so split up. Alex was running with his tail between his legs. Lulix was nowhere near the battle to engage. And Unicorns of Love just absolute stamp control.
It's a panic Baron. NIP rushing up towards it. I think this is going to be a panic Baron. I think they're going to rush in. Pink ward will get cleared. The question is, can they go through? Do they have the confidence? They're going for it. They've started it off. I'm not too sure whether this is the right move. Remember, Mega Inferno Bomb's not available. Visitachi is going round though, and Never Move would catch them out here, and that would be game over for NIP. They will back out. They realized it was a problem. Mega Inferno Bomb comes in. Oh, Alex taken so low. Now finally catches on towards him. Cabashard caught out though. Visitachi, he's going to get a kill on it once again here, and he is now godlike. 7-0-2 on Swain top lane. It is a thing, ladies and gentlemen, alongside the cow.
The Unicorns of Love are just punishing NIP for every single decision that they make. Hylissing actually caught a Dark Binding on Alex on the way out, but the rest of the team wasn't able to respond. And I love what the Unicorns of Love are doing. They, instead of going for the Baron, they're pushing the objectives, they're pushing the towers. They've got such a massive lead, they don't need to run the risk of throwing in the pit at the moment. So we'll see if they continue pushing with this minion wave. There's not a whole lot of minions, but they've got super minions in the base of NIP. So time is on their side, wave clear is on their side. The massive item advantage for most of the lanes is on their side. And there's very little NIP can do barring punishing an overcommitted Unicorns of Love squad.
So I wonder if they purposely let this Maokai through. They knew what they were going to do to counter it, or they've just simply put Cabashard in an uncomfortable position. 0-5-0 is massive tilt. In case of, he may well take this upon himself and just think, oh, it's all my fault. Going into game 2, it's going to be a serious problem. That's the second inhibitor going down. Minions, super minions coming through. You can see they're stacked up. Game 1,
and bottom lane
very
as well.
much in control. You can see minions coming around. They just can keep on pushing. Nobody can get near them. They've got so much crowd control, so much damage. Unicorns of Love are just throwing everything towards these towers. NIP move on forward. Hylissang, he wants to fight. I don't think he wants to back away.
Well.
Super minions taking down
They're
one
Nexus turret.
They're pushing on through. Can they finish off the game? Mega Inferno Bomb will wipe out the wave. Inhibitor will get taken down. Hylissang takes all of the damage. Alex is focusing on the support. Can just about get that kill, but they quickly turn it back around. Vardax gets on towards him. They move on towards the Nexus turret. That will go down as well. One more shot should do that as Cabashard gets pounced on. Vardax makes himself another kill. It's a 3-for-1 so far. The Nexus turret will fall. And ladies and gentlemen, game 1 is over inside 23.5 minutes. 14-1 kills. Absolute domination by the Unicorns of Love in game 1.
Exquisite performance. There is very, very little to say other than flawless decision making. And I love the way that Unicorns of Love actually finished the game. The moment they got the lead, the moment they got that middle inhibitor, backed away, they responded to the NIP desperation Baron, and instead of going for Baron themselves and stalling it out and waiting a few minutes, they looked at the minion waves, realized they could push top, realized they'd be able to push middle, and completely shut up the